Hey everybody, today we are at Creekside Disc Golf Course in Lemoyne. At least I think this is Lemoyne. All these towns near Harrisburg kind of run together for me. This is a great beginner course. It does have some challenges. It does have a creek near some of the fairways, so you have to be careful not to lose a disc or 3 or 6 in the water. But a lot of these holes, or quite a few of these holes, are drivable by me, who does not have the longest arm. And there are quite a few holes that are accuracy based. So even if you can't drive the hole, if you're smart, you hit your lines, you can do pretty well. I am going to throw some quick warm-up shots and then we are going to get going. This is going to be my second attempt at a soundless round. I'm not going to do any commentary during the round. I'm going to do a voiceover after the fact, and hopefully that works. I haven't actually tried to post-produce one yet, so we will see. We're going to keep changing up how we do these playthroughs until we find until I find a style that works. So let's get her moving.
All right, hole 1, 167 feet. Nice and short to start. Tee pads are a little small on some of these holes, so they really only work for like a standstill or a 1 or 2 step delivery, unless you're very careful. So the idea is just to, drive the hole, see what you can, see how close you can get. My drive actually put me in a really good position to let me put away a birdie on the first hole. It's always a good way to start out a round. Hole 2 is 195 feet. And as the old saying goes, second verse same as the first. This is pretty much the same shot that you threw on hole 1, except 30 feet longer. So I'm just going to throw the same disc, the same shot, throw it a little harder, see if I can get close to the basket again. Left myself a little bit longer of a putt this time. I think I'm right on the edge of the circle, but I'm still able to card up a birdie. Well, at least one of them carded up a birdie. Hole 3, par 3, 362 feet. There is a mando on the right on that tree. You have to stay to the left of it. That mando separates the fairway of hole 3 from the fairway of hole 8. There's another tree a little farther down the fairway. That's your separator. You can go to either side of it. I normally on a backhand will throw to the right side of that tree. In this particular round I threw to the left side, but it's still okay. Leaves me with about 120 feet to the pin. So, and it's nice and wide open, so I'll just take my anvil and toss it up there to the basket and make sure that I don't mess up an up and down. In this particular case, I put it pretty close. I think I was within 15 feet. So grab a par and move on to the next hole. Hole 4 is 253 feet. It's really the first hole that the creek plays a significant mental role, especially for right-hand backhand. If you don't stay wide enough, your disc is going to head into the great wet. In this particular case, I thought I was wide enough, but I got a pretty nasty skip and ended up right on the edge behind a tree. I think I was just outside the circle with this putt, and my putting stroke was on this day. So that's 3 putts, or it's 3 birdies out of the first 4 holes, which is an indicator of either a very good round or that the other shoe's about to drop. Hole 5 is 242 feet, again with the OB Creek on the left. So you need to stay to the right. The green does slope towards the creek, although there's quite a bit of brush and trees that should stop an errant skip, depending on how lucky or unlucky you might be. I was expecting that shot to fade a lot more to the left. I ended up pin high, but up the slope a little bit farther than I really wanted to be, and now I'm putting down towards the creek. So I had to decide how bold I was going to be with this putt. Well, you know, it's not a tournament round, so it's a practice round. Decided I'd just go after it, and I did. Splashed out with the first one, but managed to keep the second one in the basket. So that's 4 birdies out of the first 5 holes, and I will tell you, I had a very big smile on my face at this point, because I don't ever start out this well. Alright, hole 6, 286 feet. We're going back the way we came, so the creek is now on the right, but it's far enough away it should not come into play. However, to the left are OB backyards, so I want to go nice and straight. 286 feet, and it's slightly downhill. I would normally think that I should be able to make that distance, but for some reason I never do. So this is pretty typical of what I'm usually looking at on this hole. I'm well outside of circle 2, and you know, these are just, you know, putt and pray. Got close with that one, but I play this hole for a par, and you know, head on to the next. Hole 7 is a 194-foot par 3. It's a very unique hole. The 2 trees that you see in front of the tee pad have Mando signs on them, and I normally see play as you have to go outside of either Mando. So you're either going to the left of the left Mando or to the right of the right Mando. Most of the tournaments that I've played on this course have played it that way. I normally throw a forehand around the left side and leave myself with usually an edge of the circle putt which is what happened in this particular case, and I managed to rack this one up as well. All right, hole 8, 208 feet. The backyards on the left are OB, and there is a Mando sign you can see in the distance on one of those trees. You must stay to the left of that Mando sign. This is again a separator between the fairway of 8 and the fairway of 3. And in as much as, you know, it's just a straight shot, I have missed that Mando more often than I care to think about. I pured it this time and actually got nice and close. So I was able to rack up another birdie. And at this point I'm thinking, why can't I throw like this during a tournament? Hole 9 is our first par 4, 503 feet. There is a Mando tree that you can see in front of you that you must stay to the right of. The backyards are yet again OB, so staying to the right of that tree takes a lot of the backyards out of play. And I actually, on this drive, I thought I was going to hit that tree. I played it so far inside. Yeah, that was very, very close. This hole has 2 pin positions. I believe the basket was in the longer of the 2 positions on the day that I did this video. So I left myself probably 35 to 40 short for a birdie, and I normally play this as this one for a par as well. So I'm not really terribly upset to miss that first one. I was absolutely ecstatic to actually hit the second one. And at this point I'm thinking, I just went 7 under through the first 9 holes. I should just put my cart in the car and go home and be happy. Hole 10 is a 339-foot par 3. We've moved back over toward the creek, which is now on our right side. On the other side of the tree line. The basket is also tucked up into the tree line, so in order to get close you have to push the tree line. You have to challenge the tree line, which I did a little too much and ended up hitting one of the trees. Now this left me with an upshot which was, under branches, behind branches, so I was going to need to try to flick my anvil up there but stay underneath the branches. I did a little too much and I threw it into the ground. So now I'm outside the circle and already kind of miffed that I messed up the upshot, and then I throw the first putt very wide right, and I short the second putt. So after a 7 under front 9, I'm already at +1 on the back. Yeah, need to watch that attitude. Hole 11 is 275 feet. There is a Mando on the left. You can see what looks like a very, very tall tree stump, or a tree trunk with no branches. That is the left Mando. The creek and tree line is on the right. So yeah, it's no problem. Just throw it straight. It was amazing how many times I have missed that Mando. So I made the Mando, but put myself behind this interesting looking shrub. So time to just pitch up and move on. And I throw my first upshot right into the branches. So let's get smart and throw our second one with a forehand so that the branches don't come into play. Now we'll just clean up these upshots, take the par on to the next hole. Hole 12 is 308 feet. It's a straight shot. You have the OB Creek on the right and an OB line, rope line on the left there at the tree line. So just stay in the fairway. This is a very skippy fairway. So I've managed to go OB left quite often, so I don't even try to drive anywhere close to the basket here. I just take a mid-range, get myself 2/3 of the way there, and then take another mid-range or putter and put throw an upshot. I do not play this for a birdie. I play it for a par every single time. I will take a par on this hole every time. Hole 13 is our second par 4 at 499 feet. And ladies and gentlemen, we have reached Monster Alley. The creek on the right is OB. There is OB line on the left, and a few million trees in between you and the basket. So this is another hole that I play as a placement shot, upshot. I don't try to go, grab any great distance on the first or the second shot. I just want to be in the middle of the fairway. Don't skip OB right or left, and get myself to a point where I can see the basket and have a shot at getting it up and down for a par. My first shot stayed in the middle for the most part. I was a little bit farther left than I wanted to be. So the second shot, I took my stag and I threw it on a little bit of a flex line to try to keep it in the middle of the fairway again. And in this particular case, mission accomplished. I have a fairly straightforward upshot. It's unobstructed. Woo! And I didn't intend on running that basket, but I almost threw the upshot in for a birdie, and I never birdie this hole. So I'll take that par. Hole 14 is 275-foot par 3. There's 2 basket positions on this hole. One is hard left through the tree line, and the other one is straight through the trees. I believe the basket to the left is considered the short position, but the basket on the day that I played this round was in the long position, straight ahead. And like the last hole, like 13, creek to the right is OB, and there is an OB line to the left. I pulled that shot and was headed towards the creek, but luckily I hit a tree and it kicked me straight down and kept me from going in the water. But now I have an upshot that I have to throw an anhyzer around, under, through, you know, all of the branches, all of the trees, and didn't see that branch. So, good news, bad news. Bad news is I hit the branch. Good news is I knocked it down, so nobody else will hit it. But now I have a very, very long putt to save my par. There's a decent backstop behind the basket. There's some brush back there, so running this, you know, really doesn't have that much danger, except when you do what I just did, which is miss the basket, miss the brush, and go, you know, far behind the basket. So there's bogey number 2 for the round. Hole 15 is 256 feet. This is a tough little hole. There's not really any OB, any manufactured OB, but you see that very, very dense shrub or brush or whatever to the right. That grabs a lot of discs. The short pin position is into the trees and dog leg left. My drive wasn't bad. It left me with an open look, just a little farther out than I really am comfortable with. I'll run these putts anyway, but I'm not terribly upset that I don't get, I don't hit those putts, because they're outside of my normal putting range. Hole 16, 328 feet. So I'm not reaching this one. But it's pretty straight with the basket tucked to the left. There is an OB line all along the left side of the fairway, and the natural OB shrubs and brush to the right. I've skipped OB quite often on this fairway. In this particular drive, I didn't skip OB, but I kind of stymied myself behind the leaning tree with the goalpost trees in front of me, between me and the basket. And I, take the smarter shot. Instead of going between those trees and trying to run the basket, I just go out around and take the short par. Or play for the short par, anyway. Hole 17 is 396 feet. Still a par 3. There is OB on both sides. The backyard's on the right side, and there's an OB line on the left. This is well outside of my driving range, so my goal here is just to get into the middle of the fairway. Most of the time I'll throw a forehand, but today I was throwing backhand turnovers as practice. I left myself with probably 150 or so to the pin, and just spinning up shot up there. Use my warship to get myself nice and close, grab that par, and head to the last hole. Hole 18 is 206 foot par 3, OB to the right in the backyards, and this hole's really kind of cool. There's a walking path that goes near those trees and kind of carves out a little island, and a lot of the tournaments that I play here, they'll actually make this an island hole, where you have to be on the island, or you play from your lie with a hazard stroke. I made the island. I went quite a bit farther left than I had intended. But hey, I'm on the island. I'm not taking a penalty stroke, and I actually managed to make that birdie putt to get myself back to 6 under. For me, 6 under on this course is not too bad. I mean, I missed a couple. I made a couple that I don't normally get. I'll take it.
Okay, so that was Creekside Disc Golf Course, Ridley Park in Des Moines, PA. I think I shot a 6 under, which is not bad for me for this course. I missed a couple, but I got a couple that I don't normally get. Like I said earlier, this is a great beginner course. It's a great intermediate course. Just watch the creek. There's a couple of holes where the creek really comes into play. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. And if I don't see you before that, or if I don't see you back here, go crash some chains.